Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Can everybody see and hear me okay? Because this is a busy one. This is a busy one. It's going to be a busy, busy afternoon. Can everybody hear and see me okay? Wonderful. All right. So, besides all the market action that we have going on because of DeepSeek and NVIDIA and all that other stuff, boy, oh boy, today, not sure it gets any crazier than today, to be honest with you. Mike Clark, I need some help because I am not able to share. There we go. Okay, there we go. Can everybody see that? Are you ready? Yes, my dog did run by one of them. That is correct, Pat. That is correct. All right. So honestly, I know Charlie talked about this yesterday about this week being, one of the craziest weeks of the quarter. So it wasn't just because of Nvidia and everything going on with all the AI trade, but we've got the big techie names. We've got the big techie names starting earnings today. And in addition, we got this guy right here. We got this guy right here coming out in an hour. Fed decision in an hour. And as we know, what we have seen in the past, okay, the Fed decision, we don't really see a big move on that. We're not going to see a big move unless the Fed does something today. Okay. And as we can see right here, and let me update this. Here is the current CME FedWatch tool. Probabilities for nothing today, 99.5%. So unless the Fed makes a move, and if they made a move, it would probably be to the upside, not the downside. I don't think we're going to see much happening at 1 o'clock. Okay. Now, at 1:30, that's a different story when Powell talks. That's where we know, or that's when we know the fireworks come in. And we'll see what he does today because, the narrative has really, really shifted since last month's Fed meeting when it was very questionable whether they should have lowered rates or not. Okay. Inflation is not going down. We see the struggles out there. We see prices rising. So, there's a camp out there that says, boy, Fed may have to raise rates. Okay. Not today, but sometime maybe a couple months from now, who knows? So it's all going to come down, like always, to what he says. Is he going to sound, we're just, we're looking at the data, we're staying the course, or is he going to look a little despondent? And is his rhetoric going to be a little hawkish? So that's what we need to watch out for is the 1:30 Central Time, 2:30 Central. That's when the presser is, the Fed presser is. Okay. Now, I want to look into specifically these three stocks. They are all reporting after the close today. What you talk about a big potential make or break for the market, right? And what are they all going to be talking about? They're all going to be talking about the same things. Number one, capital expenditures. What are capital expenditures like? Because we know we've seen it headline after headline after headline how much money they are putting in to AI. Okay. Oh, this is good. I see as a live update here. I'm just getting an update. The White House suspends or rescinds their federal funds freeze memo. Okay, there's another thing. There's another reason there's a lot of volatility in the market, guys. We don't know what's going on in the administration. We don't know what shot is going to be fired next. That will keep volatility in the marketplace. But going back to these three stocks in specific, it's all going to be about AI, spending, capital expenditures, guidance, and then, yes, of course, how much? How much is this big revelation of DeepSeek and whatever truth may be behind it? How much is that going to impact their earnings and their guidance? I know there's a betting market out there right now. I haven't seen what the latest over under is right now, but on the conference calls for these companies, how many times DeepSeek is going to be mentioned? I want to say that it's in double digits. I don't know the exact number. Hopefully, I can find that by the end of our chat today. Okay, you guys ready to take a look at these stocks here? In no particular order, because they all come out after the close. Okay, so let's start with Tesla, which I believe is going to be the one maybe that has the least significant move after the close today. Tesla has already reported their number of vehicles. And to me, Tesla is the one that there's maybe the biggest question mark as to what the performance of these earnings are going to do to the stock because of politics, because of how much Elon is tied into the White House. So I'm not so sure that the results are going to move the stock that much. Just my personal opinion. But let's take a look here. Okay, first, from a technical standpoint, okay, Tesla's trying desperately to hold on to this area right here, which is the 50-day moving average. That 50-day moving average is 393 basically. Okay, now that has been pretty decent support here going back. Okay, not that it hasn't dipped below, but that 50-day moving average has been really good support in the past. And that's even through earnings cycles. Okay, so you've got that going for it. Now, the expected move in Tesla, okay, everybody remembers how to calculate expected move, right? This one's a good, easy one because Tesla right now is trading right here at 387.5 basically. So we can see the expected move is, somewhere 37, 38 bucks. Does everybody see that? Right? It's like, it's uncanny almost that it's literally right at 10%. It is literally right at a 10% expected move. Does everybody see that? So basically that takes us to an expected range of 350 to 425-ish. Okay? Does everybody see that? Okay, great. So let's go back to the charts here. Let's look at 350 and 4.25. What do we got? What do we got? Well, here's 350. If I really want to break down a chart here, I can see there's a lot of volume right there. So honestly, there could be a lot of support at 350 if the stock were to come down. Likewise, on the upside, you've got this recent top right around 430. And I mean, I hate to bring it up, but it does kind of play into it a little bit with this stock in particular. There's always the aura, there's always the emotion, there's always the thought of the volume surrounding 420 in Tesla. So those ranges of 350, 4.25, if you were going to place something out to those areas there, those I think are really good targets. Okay, now looking at this chart, if it weren't for earnings, I'd probably be leaning bullish in Tesla just because of that big support at the 50-day moving average. But, earnings time, anything can happen here. So I actually went on Schwab Network Live this morning. Okay, and I talked about this iron condor. Now, the stock was trading higher when I did this. I think the stock was $10 higher. Okay, but I talked about selling this iron condor. If we lowered that, basically the $10 that the stock has moved since I talked about this morning, we're looking at this right here. Now, if we were to be able to get this, and guys, this is not a recommendation. I am not putting this out as a signal. This is a discussion. Okay. If we were able to sell this at 450, that gives us break evens of 355 and a half to 429.50. Boy, that is so darn close to those areas, that expected range we just talked about. If I could get a little more, if this was trading a little bit more expensively, 470 or so, I might put out a signal for that. Okay. So that's the way I'm looking at Tesla. That's my breakdown on Tesla. Okay. Not sure if anybody, has anything they want to add to that. That's my breakdown. Okay. Again, no particular order. I'm not sure what happened to the market here. I know the S&P's just dropped about 15, 18 points or so. Not sure what news may have just come out. I'm going to have to try and find that here, guys, which I will do. Meta. Let's look at Meta. Boy, has Meta taken off since this whole DeepSeek AI that's come out. And here's another stock. You talk about 50-day moving average being tremendous support here. Okay, and now we're in rarefied air, right? There is nothing up here. This stock has just outperformed. Okay, the fact that, at least for me, that the stock is trading really in no man's land, I don't want to touch it. I absolutely don't want to touch it. Now, if there's a bad report and the stock falls back to this area right around 600, which is the 50-day moving average, I'm probably ready to jump in with something. Okay, but let's go through the same process here with Meta. Okay, stock's trading 672 and a half. Good, this is going to make it easy again. Figure out our expected move. 672 and a half. We've got an expected move really about 50 bucks. About 8%. Does everybody see that? And as you're answering me, since your fingers are on your mouse or typing in, it'd be really easy for you to smash that like button right now. Okay. So with a $50 expected move, let's say that puts us 620 to 720. Okay, 620 to 720-ish. Love the Hulk smash. You know what? Maybe we're gonna use Hulk from now on. Hang on. What do you guys think of that? If we were to use for word of the day, something like this. What do you think? Maybe we'll have to put that into our repertoire. That certainly doesn't look like Lou Ferrigno, that's for sure. And I know I'm dating myself. We loved watching The Incredible Hulk as a kid. Anyway, 620 to 720. Okay. Again, if we went to look at, an iron condor playing off of those levels, just to see if, there's anything worthwhile. Let's see. Okay. Not bad as well. Okay. This is basically the same type of setup here as in Tesla. So let's say you were able to sell this for $4.50 again, just like we were looking at in Tesla. Okay, you're looking at 625 and a half to 719 and a half. Okay. Also something, maybe you consider. So if you respect the expected moves, again, I would like a little bit. Guys, that's not the word of the day. Hulk is not the word of the day. I'm glad you're engaged. That's awesome. Hulk is not the word of the day. So that's the way I look at Facebook or Meta, whatever they call it now. Whatever they call it. Okay, since I've already confused everybody, let's just get right to the word of the day here, guys. And yes, we have to be prepared. We've got to be prepared for what's to come, how we trade in this marketplace. We've got to be looking it ahead. That's why what I'm looking at in Facebook, Meta, that's why I said, okay, I've got a target for 600 tomorrow, 600-ish. That if that thing trades down there and trades in an area close to that, I want to be prepared to act on that. Real quick poll here. Mike Clark, is there any way we can put up a poll in here? Okay. Real quick poll, guys. Professor or Hulk? Professor or Hulk? We'll get a survey up here somehow. Great. It'll come up here at some point. Okay. All right. But anyway, prepare is the word of the day. Now, let's get back. Yeah, I kind of agree, Gene. I kind of agree. Okay. Let's get back to the third one, Microsoft. Microsoft, Mr. Softy, pumping so much money into AI. Look at this chart. What do you see on this chart? Well, for about the last, this is since October. So we'll call it almost 4 months. Almost 4 months. We've seen the 50 and the 200-day moving averages just really, really converge. Big channel, David, nice. Big time channel. Clive, yes. Stuck. But what we did see, which was pretty bullish, was right here. We saw this crossover. We saw the 50 cross over the 200. Okay. That's called a golden cross. If the 50 crosses down below the 200, that's the death cross. So that's a pretty bullish sign there. And again, if we look at both of these levels, the 50 and the 200 throughout here, now that it hasn't, dipped down a little below that, we've seen nice bounces off of that. But Microsoft just hasn't been able to break out of this trading range here. So I look at Microsoft actually a little bit differently than the other two. I would be biased a little bit on the bullish side personally on Microsoft. I'm not saying I would go, put out a completely bullish spread, but if we wanted to do the same type of setup in Iron Condor, we could adjust those strikes to give us a bullish bias to it. So first, let's take a look at the expected move. They're making it easy for us today to calculate these. Expected moves about 21 bucks. It just doesn't seem right that only a 5% move, right, would be priced in, yet that's what it is. And maybe that's because of that channel that we have been trading in recently. So with a $21 expected move, again, I'm going to round off here. We're looking at 420, which Elon would have liked, to basically 465. Okay, that's a little bit beyond what the expected move is. But rounding off here, 420 to 465. Well, we go back here, boy, you've got all that support right around 416 or so, and you've got recent highs at 455 and all-time highs at 465. So this 420 to 465 area, boy, I would play off of that. But if I want to be a little bit bullish biased, what I would do is raise up the put side of the Iron Condor. So instead of looking all the way down at the expected move around 420 or 425, maybe I look at something like that. And then on the upside, we can look at maybe something like this. Okay, and now the reward to risk is much different than it was for Tesla and Meta, because now we're able to get well over a $5 credit. Now maybe we get $5.30. But why is that? Why the bigger credit here? Why the better reward to risk in Microsoft than what we just saw in Meta and Tesla? And thank you, Mike Clark, for the survey. I'll announce the results here shortly. Okay, everybody, how come? I'm asking everybody, let's get some feedback here. Interactive today. Interactive. Bullish skew, bullish slant. Yes. Yes. So we're taking on a little bit more risk to the downside, right? That's what reward to risk is all about. If you're getting paid more for something, you're not getting paid more because you're taking less risk. You're getting paid more because you're taking more risk. But in this case, if we did something like this, again, I am not suggesting that you do this. If we did something like this, it is because when I look at the charts, there definitely is a bullish bias, especially because of that 50 and 200-day moving averages. So if we were able to sell this at 530 Now we're talking about 429.70 on the downside and 465.30 on the upside as your break evens with phenomenal reward to risk. That's the way I would approach Microsoft, which is different from the way I approach Tesla and Meta. Same setup, same strategy, but with a little different bias to it. And that's the beauty of options, guys, and the ways that you can put options together and make different different types of spreads. By adjusting your strikes and adjusting your reward to risk levels, you get to where you want to be. Would I do an iron fly? Okay, Clive, what do you suggest? Just using the same strikes? Does everybody know the difference between an iron condor and an iron fly? Maybe we'll have a discussion. Maybe we'll do another Market Minds on that. Okay, but the real quick explanation of that is the word condor and the word fly. Okay, so on a condor, we've got different sets of strikes. Okay, so in the case of Microsoft here, we had the 435, 425 put spread, 460, 470 call spread. That's what a condor is. If we were to do an iron fly, your middle strike, okay, would be the same strike, but on different sides. So maybe we would do something, let me show you, and I'm just putting this up here for example purposes, guys. Okay, an iron fly would look like this, where your center strike is the same on both sides. And yes, last call for the day here. Maybe the last time we're going to see the professor. Very possible. Okay, wheel is closed, everybody. The wheel is closed on the survey. Hulk was almost 60%. Professor was 40%. Okay, so one last thing here. Bobby Schuler said there's more risk on the fly than there is on the condor. There is. But if I'm taking more risk, I got to have better reward, right? I got to be getting paid more. I can do this iron fly for $8.75. So I'm only taking $1.25 risk. So more risk because the likelihood is that the stock is going to trade outside of that range. But you're certainly getting paid for it. That's where reward and risk come into play, guys, and everybody needs to understand how reward and risk works. All right, guys, I hope this was helpful. And you know what? As soon as we finish on the wheel here, we're going to have a half an hour until the Fed comes out. I highly suggest you go get a cup of coffee, maybe even your favorite beverage of the day. Who knows? But from 1 o'clock through the close and then even extended trading today, it is going to be busy. It is going to be busy. All right, guys, let's get the wheel populated up here. Whoa, we got a lot of people on the wheel today. Holy smackaroonies. Oh, Bobby, don't tell people to stay in cash. You got to separate trading and investing. Okay. All right, guys. Let's run the wheel here. Here we go. The wheel is live. Who is it going to be today? Maria, Tim, Edward, Tim Wasinski. Tim K, are you in the house? John, we may have to figure out. We may have to figure out a way to do that. I got to squint to see who the winners are. Tim, are you in the house? Yeah, Ollie, we're all used to Robert winning, right? That's why that's why he said that. It's a good one. Uh-oh, Tim. I may have to go back to the wheel here. Tim, you got 5 seconds, man. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Are we sad for Tim? Nope. Let's go back to the wheels, guy. Oh, Tim. I don't know, everybody. Tim literally just made it about 3 seconds after the deadline I gave him. What should we do? What would the Hulk do? What would the Hulk do? All right, Tim, we'll give it to you this time. We'll give it to you. All right, Tim, you know what to do, right? Shoot me an email, prosperswag@prospertrading.com. There it is, right up on the screen. And yeah, we're gonna have to. I'm not a creative person. I'm gonna have to give this to my creative team here. Figure out what the how we get the Hulkster in here. But everybody, been great with you guys today. Smash, 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 smash. I'm serious about preparing for the rest of the day today and for tomorrow. And it's not just for tomorrow, because after Tesla, Meta, and Microsoft today, the other big guys are all coming up in the next few days. Okay? All right. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a fantastic rest of the day. We'll see you later.